Hi, it's Brandon from Seattle Organic SEO, and today we're going to talk a little bit about backlinks in terms of the quality. Um, One of our former clients asked, how do you figure out what backlinks are worth actually getting? And so we decided to create this little video for you so that you would understand at least some ways of figuring out which backlinks you should focus on. So first off, what is it? Literally a link on one website pointing to yours. So that's a relatively intuitive concept, but just in case you didn't know, that's what it is. Now, why are they important? Because as you can read here, they are literally votes of confidence from other sites to you, pointing to you saying that we should go to your site, or that maybe your site is a good reference or has some resource that perhaps you should visit your site for. And so it's literally a good signal for the search engines to say that website is decent because they have these links that basically go to them. Now, how do you decide which ones are actually important? Well, these concepts are probably a little bit beyond you, but just briefly so that you know what the search engines are evaluating, and maybe you can use these for the ways that you actually think about your own backlinks. But first off, domain authority. Frankly, a site that actually has lots of backlinks to itself, and is a very valuable property out there, probably has high domain authority. So you want links from those sites. Relevance. Stay within your industry. Post, maybe hover around your industry. So if you're a handyman, maybe a plumber site. If you're a handyman, maybe something that does with housing. In terms of uniqueness, I think rather in terms of backlinks, uniqueness is very important. So you can see here that a backlink coming from a very specific website and having a variety of these, or ones that are really, really difficult for other websites to acquire, will be an advantage to you because you are literally getting this recommendation from some other website that others are not. And then finally, if there are a lot of people visiting that website, that's probably a good website, and then that potentially can even give you direct traffic. So those are just 4 criterion that you should actually pay attention to. But this is the easy way to actually find how you can determine backlinks are decent, and also ways of actually finding them, and just literally identifying whether or not Google cares or not. And so, frankly, on the left, you can see it's search and results pages. It's actually a very intuitive process. You just literally go and search, and then you look at what's showing up at the top, and I'll walk you through that. And then there's Search Console, which is a tool that hopefully your website is connected to, and if you are connected to it, you will frankly have the ability to see what Google sees and what they think that you deserve in terms of credit in the organic results. Well, first off, let's think about what kind of searches you would do in the search to find these backlinks. Well, these are the 4 categories that I would say to start off with. First off, look at your specialty or whatever you're trying to be, your unbranded terms that you're perhaps looking to show up for. So if you're a dentist, like dentist near me, maybe your geography or your location plus, dentist. Let's say you're a surgeon, so same kind of concept, surgeon near me, but obviously there's specific types of surgeons, like plastic surgeons, that you'd want to add a little bit of extra detail in order to search for those. So that's a group of keywords that you'll want to use to look up potential possibilities. The next one is your brand. So look at your brand and see what kind of links actually show up. You'll see actually there's a lot of other websites that point to you or have your profile on them. It's a good reference. And then when you search for other brands, the same thing applies. And you can see the third category is actually looking to see if they have links in their search when you search for them. So get your competitor, search, and then look through all the different backlinks, or profiles that are not their website, but actually other websites out there that are pointing to them. So that's another way to see, what kind of links are actually valuable, because the ones that are showing up at top are probably going to be the ones that Google likes. Before we move on, so other pertinent keywords, if you do want more ideas, you just use Keyword Planner most likely, or at the bottom of the page, you can actually find some results that, or rather suggestions from the search engine. So first off, the profession near me, I just wanted to give you a quick example. So let's say you did search handyman near me. Yelp is a lot of times one of the top aggregators that shows up right below your brand. And so, or even under these unbranded terms, it's like number one. So let's say you click into it, you'll notice that there's a link here on the page for Yelp. And so this is a good example of a backlink that you could get to your site. So it's kind of a profile, but these are the backlinks that we are wanting to acquire. And so then go to AngieList, or then go to Thumbtack, and make sure that you hit on all of these different ones. And that is something to consider. So my friend, like I said, or my past client was asking, so how do I know whether or not that site that perhaps I'm getting a backlink is actually valuable? Well, look up other competitors, perhaps who are in those directories, who've been using them. See if they show up, and see if they show up kind of high. Ideally, the higher the better, because that will probably mean they have higher domain authority, and most likely there is a lot of engagement. The next category, your brand. So this is one of those handymans that I found from here. So house calls, etc. And so when I type that in, you can see the BBB shows up, Porch.com shows up, Yellow Pages, RateBiz. These are all examples. And then when you click through to one of them, you'll see the backlink here. So those are definitely places that you can see Google values. Another example is, another handyman service. Frankly, I was actually looking up Eastside Handyman Services, and then, it took, I think, page 3 or so. This is a little bit different, but when you click into it, you'll notice that Nextdoor has backlinks. Interesting. So, and this is, maybe it is deep a little bit, but as long as you're finding them, that's what is important. Then lastly, other pertinent keywords to kind of search and things like that. Make sure you go into Google Ads Keyword Planner, search for a couple different suggestions, and then, peruse through those. You can literally figure out many more ideas in order to see if there are backlinks out there. And the other point was to actually leverage your account with Google, which is the Search Console. And within Search Console, a lot of people are up here trying to look at data and things like that. But if you go down to the bottom left, you'll see an actual link that says links. And when you click on it, you'll see over here, this is just the left-hand side of the next page, but it'll identify what pages you're getting linked to. It'll also identify where those links are coming from. And so basically, Google's telling you what they read. And Google's telling you what kind of backlinks actually exist, and the type of things that perhaps are giving you credit. So jump into your Search Console, and you'll actually find these little details, and it might give you an idea. And then lastly, I just wanted to identify a good timeline. And so frankly, it might take a long time. So you can see here, this isn't just a short-term process. I would make sure that you outline a long-term process. And the good thing is when you're doing this, it's feeling very natural on Google's side. So do consider that, because if you do like too much at one point, it might feel a little too artificial. So give it some thought, like in this way, where you literally are researching and then maybe doing a little bit of reach out, or maybe even buy links from certain websites. And when I say buy, it's like maybe you're buying a membership into the site, or perhaps you're sponsoring something on that website. But do whatever it takes, and then frankly, just do it over that time. I would say consistently evaluate and analyze to make sure you're doing it correctly, and then rinse and repeat. So basically, that's what I would say. And scale, obviously, anything that's working really well. So that's it from me and Seattle Organic SEO as far as tips in terms of what are high quality backlinks.